Hello and welcome to January 7th junk journal with me. I'm again using the prompts from Junk Journal January, and I will have a link to those below. And today's prompt was tea log, which is perfect because I love drinking tea, and I remembered I had a whole bunch of stuff I had saved for a Alice in Wonderland journal that one day I hope to make. So I had bits and pieces for that, which would help me out for this spread. So I have some of those book pages, and I have a tea filter, and so I start off by taking this picture of the Mad Tea Party chapter, and I just tore that out, and I wanted to stitch that onto the tea filter along with three little tags from the tea bags that I'm currently using and drinking. And I wanted to also add the title of the chapter, which is the Mad Tea Party. So I took that to my sewing machine off camera and just sewed around that picture and sewed right through the middle of those tea bag tags. So you can see the close-up here. So now I'm just going to cut those threads a little shorter. Don't mind little pieces hanging off, but they were just too long. And now I'm just going to glue that title on there because that was just too small to sew on to bother. So then I was trying to find the right spot, and I thought I had a page picked out, but somehow I couldn't locate that anymore. So I had to go with something else, and so I found one that had a transparent piece on the left, which is this one, and then another a page of my floral book on the right, and that filter would fit perfectly on the left side, but I did not like it being there vertically. I really wanted the whole thing to be there horizontally, but it just wouldn't fit. It was too wide. So I then decide to just cut the tea bag tags off and to just separate the two and use the tag somehow differently. So I positioned that there. I liked that. Now for the other side, I wanted to do one of the book pages from the Alice in Wonderland book as a background, and now I'm just still trying to see how I could use those tabs. And especially like this page because it had something in there about asking Alice, do you want more tea or something like that. So I really liked that was that was on that page for this spread. So I just tore it down to fit the size of that page. And now I'm still trying to figure out how am I going to incorporate that on the page. Played around with a doily, thought I could somehow use that. Maybe fold it in half or use half of it only, kind of like as a background for those. That would have actually worked. That would have actually worked nicely as a tuck spot. I did not think of that. Oh well, it's interesting to see your videos after they're done, and then you get new ideas. Anyway, that's not what I did. So instead, I decided to make a very simple narrow tag for these. So I just took my paper cutter and cut that down because I didn't want it to cover that much of the page. And now I'm just cutting the 2 corners off to make the tag shape. Just cutting 1 corner and then moving that corner over to the other side so I get the exact same corner, the exact same piece cut off the other corner. And I did have to ink this. This is one of the things that I just don't like. If it's not inked, it just doesn't look finished. So I just decided to ink the tags themselves as well, and just made a hole through it to look like a tag. Okay, here. So then I just glued that down, and I'm sorry for the camera shake there. Okay, now I'm ready to glue down that page. Okay, but I still didn't know, first of all, how I'm gonna attach that tag, and second of all, how I was gonna decorate the rest of that page. And so I have this stamp set from AliExpress, which is an Alice in Wonderland stamp set, and I will link that below if I can find it. And so there's one saying there that says there is always time for tea, so that's perfect. I definitely wanted to have that on the page. And I just stamped that on some coffee dyed scrap paper. And then I wanted to add some more of those images from the stamp set because they were so nice. And one was this really nice Victorian looking teacup. So I definitely wanted to incorporate that. Just trying to see how I could place it best on this acrylic block so I could actually stamp it well. And then I had this beautiful teapot as well from the same stamp set. I'm just trying to see how that would look, and somehow the teapot was just a bit too big for my taste. So I thought, okay, let's see what other images there are in the stamp set, and I try this clock, which I thought looked actually better visually. It wasn't as wide, and I liked the round clock there, and of course combined with that there's always time for tea, I thought it was perfect to have a teacup and a clock there. So that's what I ended up going with. So now I'm just putting my writing board underneath to get a sort of an even stamp. I'm using my jet blank archival ink. Position that so that one is under the other. Actually, I'm sorry, it's not archival ink, it stays on ink. Sorry about that. And now I'm just gonna glue that down. And then I was trying to think how I could attach the tag, and first I thought I was going to tie it, make a hole, but then I decided I'd rather put a brad through it, so I tried to make the hole with my hole puncher, but I saw I didn't reach far enough into the page, so instead I had to use my fancier Recollections hole punch. And then I chose one of the Tim Holtz brads, and I realized I had the one with the number 7, which was good because today was the spread for January 7th, so that was just perfect. So I just put that right through the page. Okay, and now I'm just gonna glue that image from the book down. And I thought I was done, but I always remember afterwards that I actually forget to put date down. So now I'm just using my new stamp, which is in the last AliExpress haul, and I just stamped January 7th with my Distress Oxide in Vintage Photo. And there you have it. Thanks so much for watching. Bye guys.